approaching sunset. Traffic southbound number 3 lane. Exiting at sunset. Traffic exiting at sunset. We'll notify LAPD.
911, what's your emergency? This is how can I help you?
911 emergency, what do you report?
Hello, welcome back to We Speak Dispatch. I'm John, here today with Leslie, Doug, and Glenna all around. And since We Speak Dispatch, just our roundtable discussion about topics going on in the dispatch center and offering our opinions, of perspectives, and just new ideas and things you can walk away with. So today, for about 15 or so minutes, we're going to talk about baggage. We all come with it, but it's not that type of baggage. We're going to be talking about.
That's Glenna's topic.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about fairy tales and unicorns, all for Glenna. No, we're really going to be talking about preparing for catastrophe. And one of the jokes in the household I live in is you take 75 bags to work and you come back with 78.
Yep.
Whatever happens. And it's like, where the hell do all these bags come from of just like books and papers and whatever else? But
Yeah.
what do we think of certain needs that do we think of things that we're neglecting to pack? So in times of catastrophe, maybe of a weather event, it's February 2021 right now. There's snowstorms in places that really don't get snow. Maybe there are natural disasters that we don't think about. We're always told we're public safety, mission critical, we got to be here kind of thing. So what do we think when we pack for work more than Pop-Tarts?
I'm sorry, are you saying that's not needed?
Yes, it has nothing to do with what we just saw before we recorded. But, we all have those special snacks that we pack or those special numbers that we order out in. But, in times of catastrophe, people won't deliver food.
Nope.
And we're going to have to go to the store and raid those bread shelves ourselves. So what kinds of things do we pack or should be packing in preparation for times where we may not be able to leave the center? So who wants to start?
I'll go.
Okay, cool.
I think we have at the agency that I work for, and granted, we're in Southern California, so we have two seasons. We have fire season and award season. That's it. We don't have a lot of weather. So we're blessed in that respect. But there have been times, especially in the last year with some civil unrest and some of those other things, that having to stay at work was going to be an issue. And we have, thankfully, a fairly new building with the thing that everybody wants when they move into a new house, tons of storage. But people are encouraged to bring a couple change of clothes, have a spare uniform, keep a toiletry kit in your locker. So you have access to that. And I know the agency stores water and things like that for employees. Foodstuffs, I think really it's truly like John's talking about, in one of those 75 bags that you bring to work, what's a snack that's going to be edible in a day or 2 or 4?
Yeah.
And so that probably we struggle with a little bit. There's Pop-Tarts. They'll be good for 25 years. So
yeah. Does everybody have a locker on the panel?
Everybody at my agency has 2 lockers, actually. We have a locker in our dispatch center that's kind of, think of, the school lockers that you had maybe in high school. And then in the main locker room, we have a larger locker where the showers and things are.
Okay. Glenna, do you have a locker?
I do. I have a same setup as Leslie, apparently. And I have a large locker in the main locker room that I have female essentials. So I have hair products and that, people laugh, but like, if you don't have a rubber band and you need to put your hair up because it's messy or because you're going to go out on a call out, you have to have stuff like that. I do say female products, you have to have those products there at work because if there is a disaster, it's not like, oh, we're going to be able to delay something like, a female issue. So you have to have them there. Or if your partner, poor Doug, he is turning red. So aside from Doug, deodorant is important to have.
Doug, do you have lockers at your agency?
Well,
I worked at 10 different offices. So the last one I worked at, everybody had lockers except the supervisors. We had our own office. So we had a lot of stuff in there. So, I mean, I always had snacks and all kinds of stuff in my office.
Okay, so we raid the supervisor's office if we
Okay.
need to.
Yes,
No
that's the
rating.
lesson.
I don't lock the doors. There's no rating. Just come take it. I mean, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, because a lot of agencies don't have lockers or even a locker room kind of thing to store it. I know at my center, we have large lockers in like a kitchen, an industrial kitchen that we share because we're a large agency that we share with other agencies in the same footprint. And that's where a lot of the food is stored. And then, we store stuff in lockers, but we've also had where people store non-perishable items in lockers and then it attracts rodents.
Yes.
Or locker rooms flood, and then what happens?
yeah.
Everything you had stored is now waste.
And
So, it's kind of like, okay, I'm doing the best I can, but these are things just to prepare for and kind of, okay, yeah, I pack some non-perishable items in a locker and secure them, but maybe I need to check on it every once in a while.
Well, and to that point, John, somebody shared this with me and I thought, what a cool idea. Okay, twice a year at the time change, you're supposed to also change the batteries in your smoke alarm.
yes.
Hey, add to the list, check the snacks and the food or the perishable items that I've taken to work and rotate it out.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're updating that. So, you do it twice a year regardless.
Mhm.
Yes. So we are preppers and we do it at home, but we are starting to do that at work as well. Just our little cubbies that we have at our desk where we keep snacks. My partners and I have been, okay, it's Tuesday. This is what we're doing today. We're cleaning out this drawer. And then the following Tuesday, okay, how does that drawer look? Just to keep all that stuff, keep the, what is it called? Turning over or whatever, replacing all the stuff that's in there so that it doesn't go bad.
Yeah, because we need to have some food because we can't rely on shaking out the keyboard and finding the crumbs.
Oh,
Oh, we can, but that's only good for one shift and then all the crumbs are gone.
After the first 10 hours, you're going to go hungry.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
it depends on the situation. But I worked in one of the offices where we had a pretty significant situation where people could not leave. You had to stay there. And the Red Cross showed up with a food truck.
Oh,
And they parked in our parking lot, even though it was extremely dangerous. They parked in our parking lot. And the best part of this whole thing was it was all free. I was like, oh my gosh. We went out there and they're like, today's lasagna. And I'm like, this is awesome. Can we keep this going forever?
yeah, no kidding.
But they came out and it was so nice to see the Red Cross coming out because it was us and the National Guard were in the same spot. So it was weird all over. But it was this.
Oh, so it wasn't for you. It was really for the National Guard,
I
but
like to think it was for me. But
you put on a camouflage shirt and
yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like it was a last minute type event where we didn't expect to be trapped. It was one of those things.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
some of these events, they come at you. I mean, like you see these big hurricanes coming down the coast and you're like, okay, it's going to get bad. I mean, I live in Middle Tennessee now. They keep telling me we never get hardly any snow, but there's a lot of snow out here on the ground.
Right.
I mean, I did not want to drive around in this stuff because I'm not used to it because I'm from Southern California. So that's why my car has stuff in it. I've got blankets in there. I've got water in there. I've got stuff and flashlights and a knife and stuff like that. So just in case.
And that's for the planned events.
Yeah, that's planned.
I mean, think of even if we were planning to, we all commute, we may not live in the locality in which we work.
Yeah.
Some of us maybe have a 5-minute commute. Others of us may have a 2+ hour commute just one way.
Yeah.
But we also have to think of those contingency plans, not only at the workplace to get through the shift and maybe even have to stay, but also we talked right before taping about what are those contingency plans at home we have to take care of. What does plan B and C look like? Who's going to watch the kids? Who's going to feed the fish? All these other things that we're responsible for that kind of just goes on like clockwork because it's automatic. When we get home, we just have our routine. So those are other things to plan for.
One thing that I learned from Glenna, because Glenna had shared with me in a previous conversation about this topic and getting prepared, because we live in Southern California and earthquakes and all that stuff. And maybe it's just me, but sometimes when I go out, if I'm just like going to run to the Target or run to the store, especially now that, you can just drive up and they bring your stuff out to you, I may not be wearing any shoes. or I may just have flip-flops on.
Yes.
Okay, so now fast forward, there's been a catastrophe and I've got to walk for a significant amount of time and all I've got on is flip-flops. Glenna said, and I was like, that's genius, is every time we get new uniform boots, you know, because we wear big sturdy shoes at work, keep your old pair in your car
That's good. Yeah.
with some socks in there.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't matter what you have on when the big thing happens. It's what can you put on so you can get to where you need to be. And I'm like, God, that is so smart. So
Yeah.
I always have a spare pair of boots. I may look like a fool because I'm going to have my pajamas on and my combat,
Or shorts and a tank top.
but my feet
and
will
combat
be
boots.
well protected. Yeah.
Yes. And for me, with my commute, my 3+ hour commute, I live in Central California, but I work in Southern California. So I go down during the week. We are in earthquake country. So I make sure that I have a complete, this is, if you can see, it is literally an earthquake preparedness backpack. This
Wow.
thing is probably 10 pounds. So I want to make sure that, you know, it's sturdy enough that if there is a major earthquake, I live off of the 5 freeway, that's going to be destroyed. So I've got, like Leslie said, I've got my boots. I also have switched now to orthotic tennis shoes. In here,
Dr. Scholl's.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have emergency drinking water.
Oh,
This, I
Wow.
actually got it from a promotion at work. These were pennies on the dollar. And in here, I have emergency food, basic first aid. I've got a compass. This is actually a radio. And my husband has deemed it that we all need to become ham radio operators. So I've got a ham radio in here as well.
Oh.
I don't think it's any secret, but I do carry concealed legally. And so I have ammunition in there for the gun that I normally carry, but I also have a knife. And then because we are preppers at home, I also carry a bucket with a sleeping bag and a tent and a stove and everything in case I need to forage. I don't know. In case
I want to
Silo,
be
right?
with Glenna when the big one happens. I
No, I
want to
think-
be in her car.
I think Glenna now lives in a silo and she's underground and it's
I don't live in the silo, it's just in the backyard.
All you need is a thatch hut and you're ready to rock and
I'm
roll.
telling
Oh my gosh, I'd be so happy.
But you know, one thing that I've seen, and I have it somewhere and I couldn't tell you where it is, so that makes it useless, is, okay, we've all got our cell phones, but it's a solar charger. So no
Yes.
matter where you are, you know, you put it on the top of your car, you put it out in the middle of wherever you are, and so your phone can still remain charged because, you know, while the phone system itself may be down, you still be able to text or, you know, take your last will and testament in your notes thing. So, but
Or take a video of your last will and
Yeah.
testament. This
Yeah.
bear behind me has graciously said no wait for just a second.
Before Glenna shoots it.
well,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
or at least
that's the
hold them
problem.
up.
I also love animals. I can't shoot them.
So, you know, there's a lot to prepare for and pack to work that we normally plan for because we feel that, you know, normally we're going for 8, 10, 12 hours, some 24-hour shifts, and we'll be back at the end, but sometimes maybe not. So if there's something in particular that you pack for work, prepare for catastrophe or disaster or some food that has gotten you through that's non-perishable, put it in the comments on our social
I
media.
hear from the Texas dispatchers.
Yeah.
What was that? Yeah. Yeah, because you were saying before that.
You got through all of this.
Mhm.
yeah, my family lives, I've got a brother and my dad still live in North Texas. And it was one of those places, John, that you talked about where they got a lot of snow and they're not used to a lot of snow.
Yeah.
And they had rolling blackouts.
Oh.
And, you know, my brother just had open heart surgery New Year's Eve.
Mm.
So
my
he's
God.
just, you know, just a few weeks into his recovery. And so this was kind of significant. So he and his wife and his son lost power in their house on a roll. And so they would actually go out and sit in their car to get warm and to charge their phone. And then
Oh
they'd
my
go back in the house and then, you know, bundle up. And, you know, some of those things that you just don't think about. If you've got medical issues, okay, you've got your prescription that's going to get you through the next month. What about when you can't get to the pharmacy because you're down to your last pill. Don't, and I remember my mom telling me years ago, don't ever let your gas tank get below a half a tank.
Yeah.
Don't ever let your medication get below a week's worth of medication because you just don't know.
Yeah.
I remember that my dad used to say the same thing because we had a big earthquake. I think it was the Whittier earthquake a long time ago. And he goes, hey, let's take one of the cars and go to the store. And I'm like, I'm out of gas. I forgot to get some today. And he's like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Don't do that. So, I mean, it's just
Great lesson.
now when I knew it was going to snow the other day or get bad weather, I went and filled up both cars because I'm like, you never know. I don't want to drive in it, but at least they've got gas. So
Yeah. To charge your cell phones in case you got to turn them on.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the things that my brother shared with me was also not just not having power, but they also didn't have water. So,
Well, Glenna does.
yes.
Well, I have a Berkey filter.
Tons of
So-
snow out here. You know that.
Yeah. But, and I saw, Doug, you mentioned snow. Gosh, I don't remember who showed me the picture, but maybe, I don't remember who it was, but they had gone out and taken buckets of snow and put it in their bathtub because they could use that then to put in the toilets to make the toilets flush and boil if they needed water. But I'm like, yeah, it's just those things that until
Or
you
a
actually-
Berkey filter.
Yeah, we only use the snow for we put some wine bottles out there to chill them. So that was about it.
That's not true, Doug. You also did it for snow angels. I know you got in on that. I know it wasn't just Jill.
Anyways, what else, John?
There we go. So as we angel on out of here. So, if you have anything that you pack in particular for work that could be shared with others just to prepare in our own catastrophe or preparation or go bags or go kits, whatever the heck you call it, to pack. So be sure bag 76 is one of those long-lasting non-perishable items to get you through the next shift in case you just can't make it out. So we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment on any of the social media pages. If you're on a podcast, you're listening to us now, when you're at a safe place, drop us a line. You can email us at wespeakdispatch@gmail.com. And we're all over the internet from all over the world, actually. So
Spotify, YouTube.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're there. So
Yeah.
hopefully we gave you some insight on what to pack. And if you have any things that you want to share, leave us a comment, or if you want to ask more about what we shared, leave us that too. We'll get back with you. Otherwise, have a great next shift.
You guys
See ya.
take care. Can't wait to hear from you.
Hi, this is Courtney, and you've been listening to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch, proudly sponsored by our friends at Zybex.
Down approaching sunset. Traffic southbound number 3 lane.